We've been taught a fundamental lie about suffering, that it's something to be eliminated, avoided, or at least justified through some higher purpose. Nietzsche, who experienced more physical torment than most of us will ever know, discovered something radically different. Suffering itself is neither good nor evil. It's the raw material for becoming extraordinary. Your problem isn't the pain you experience. Your problem is how you've been conditioned to interpret that pain through moral frameworks that turn natural suffering into something poisonous. Have you ever considered that concepts like good and evil might actually be extensions of powerlessness rather than moral truths? Have you ever noticed how labeling someone as evil provides a strange sense of comfort when you've been hurt? There's something oddly satisfying about categorizing the person who wronged you as morally deficient. This psychological mechanism has a name, and understanding it could transform your relationship with pain. When we experience suffering, we instinctively search for someone or something to blame. This moral framing isn't just natural. It's been systematically encouraged by our cultural inheritance. From childhood stories to religious teachings, we're taught to divide the world into good and evil, heroes and villains, the righteous and the wicked. This binary thinking provides a comforting structure to an otherwise chaotic world. But what if our moral judgments aren't objective truths about the world? Nietzsche discovered that our concepts of good and evil have a troubling origin story that few of us are willing to confront. His investigation into morality's genealogy revealed something profound about human psychology. Our ethical frameworks aren't divine commandments, but psychological adaptations to power dynamics. Nietzsche identified a specific psychological state underlying our moral frameworks: ressentiment. This isn't just ordinary resentment. It's a transformative psychological mechanism where feelings of powerlessness are alchemized into moral superiority. It emerges from a toxic brew of emotions: envy, shame, impotent anger, and the associated feelings of inferiority that accompany them. Consider what happens when you feel powerless against someone stronger. Rather than admitting, "I cannot defeat my enemy," your mind performs a subtle transformation. I am morally superior to my enemy. This provides immediate psychological comfort, while cleverly masking the original feelings of inadequacy and resentment. The powerless gain a psychological victory by redefining the terms of value itself. Nietzsche's analysis of master and slave moralities illuminates this process. In what he called master morality, the powerful defined good as simply what they were: noble, strong, powerful. Bad merely meant common or weak, carrying no deeper moral condemnation. But those who lived under the master's power couldn't defeat them physically, so they created something ingenious: a moral framework that inverted these values. This slave morality performed a radical transvaluation, redefining good as meek, humble, and servile, precisely the qualities the oppressed already possessed. Meanwhile, the master's strength and power were redefined as evil. This wasn't just disagreement, it was a complete inversion of natural values. The weak had found a way to triumph psychologically, even while remaining physically subordinate. Your personal suffering often follows this same pattern. When you can't overcome a painful situation, whether it's betrayal, rejection, or loss, you moralize it. The person who hurt you isn't just mistaken or acting from their own wounds. They become evil incarnate. Your pain isn't just unfortunate. It becomes a cosmic injustice, demanding moral rectification. This moralization creates a secondary layer of suffering that Nietzsche recognized as insidious. Now, you're not just experiencing pain, you're experiencing righteous victimhood. You've gained the psychological satisfaction of moral superiority, but at what cost? This new identity as the righteous sufferer paradoxically keeps you trapped in the original wound, preventing you from moving forward. Though Nietzsche initially observed this pattern in religious frameworks, particularly Christianity's elevation of meekness and humility, he recognized it extends far beyond religion. Today, we can see ressentiment operating in secular morality, political movements, social media outrage, and even our intimate relationships. The mechanism remains the same, transforming powerlessness into moral righteousness. The consequence of this moralization is significant. When you frame your suffering as a moral injustice, you create a narrative that requires vindication rather than growth. Your pain becomes meaningful only if the wrongdoer is punished or if you receive some form of compensation. You remain locked in resentment, waiting for justice that may never arrive, rather than moving toward transformation. Think about a time when someone hurt you deeply. Did labeling them as bad or evil actually diminish your suffering? Or did it intensify it, keeping the wound fresh as you revisited the moral violation repeatedly? Did your righteous anger ultimately free you? Or did it chain you more tightly to the very person who caused your pain? So we arrive at Nietzsche's most profound teaching, Amor Fati, the love of fate. This isn't a passive resignation to suffering, but a radical affirmation so complete that you would willingly choose to live the exact same life again with all its pain intact. This isn't masochism, it's transformation through interpretation. What makes suffering unbearable isn't the pain itself, but the meaning we assign to it. When we strip away moral judgments and the need for cosmic justice, something remarkable happens. Suffering becomes neither good nor evil, but simply raw material for your becoming. This is the essence of Nietzsche's philosophy. Not that we should seek pain, but that we should develop the strength to incorporate it into our lives without being destroyed by it. The path forward isn't about escaping suffering or even transcending it. It's about embracing it as the very substance from which you forge your most authentic self. Your pain isn't meaningless, but its meaning isn't predetermined either. You are the artist who transforms suffering into strength, not by justifying it morally, but by affirming it as necessary to who you are becoming.